Hello, I'm David Ryland, NAFAS National Demonstrator. So glad you could join me today. And I'm here to present two designs in conjunction with the NAFAS National Online Show. Well, spring has finally arrived and it's my favourite season of the year. And one of the things I like to do in springtime is sow seeds and just see the magic of nature, where the seed, with a little bit of light, warmth and moisture, erupts and we have a new plant growing for us. So I'd like to create, for my first design for you, a magic representation, a fantasy representation of a seed. And I'm using one of my favourite containers, which is a basket. And it's made up of the tulla or the birch. And I didn't make it myself, I actually purchased the basket, but it's been a favourite ever since I've had it. And to define the outline of the seed husk, I'm attaching some tropical creeper or tropical vine, and I actually did purchase this at a physical NAFAS National Show. That has been sprayed silver with a slight touch of red, just so it defines the outline for me. And so at this time of year, in springtime, it is such a joy to walk around your garden and to see all the plants bursting forth. They're coming awake as they've been asleep during their long winter slumber, and it is a great favourite. So I've gone around my garden and I've been picking a few nice things to show you in this design, and the Cornus maz, which is bursting into its golden blooms at present, is nice. This is a small to medium tree, and there is a variegated leaf form which is slightly more tender than the common green leaf form, but at this time of the year when it erupts with the flowers, it's really lovely. I'm going to add another favourite of mine, Pinus torullosa, or the curly pine. I actually like to call it the tortured pine. That isn't its true common name, that's just my little affectionate name for it. And where the pine needles are normally straight on the pine trees, here they're curled and they have a natural curve to them, and especially when the wind is flowing through this tree, it looks as though it's dancing. It's really quite a nice tree to have. You need a large garden for this because the tree is about 15 foot wide in its length, but it's quite an open aspect. Quite an open aspect. So my flower I'm using is the bird of paradise, the Strelitzia regina. And it's been a difficult year for everybody, hasn't it, with the lockdowns across the globe. And when I think of the bird of paradise, I actually think this year I don't even know if I could, but I think I've actually appreciated my garden much more this past 12 months as we've been in lockdown. And to me, it's been a tower of strength, and it has been a little paradise indeed. So a line of the Strelitzia bird of paradise flower with these beautiful blooms in blue and tangerine at the top, and to create a slightly bit of a different texture. Now, the Leucospernum, or the pincushion protea, which is Leucospermum tango. So we'll add that to the base of that. So you never know when you sow the seeds if you're going to get a true representation of the mother plant, but often you can get variations, and that has been the way new plants have been formulated over the years of breeding. So I'm going to add, to finish off, a little touch of black, and this is the Ophiophagon nigrescens, or the black mondo grass. And this is a true black colour in its leaves, and it has gorgeous dark lilac purple flowers in clusters, which when they've been pollinated and they come to maturity, they form little bundles of black beads along the stem. And to marry up with the black Ophiophagon grass, the black pussy willow, Salix melanostachys, and that is in flower in my garden at present. So there we have my fantasy seed pod. So our next design is a terracotta square pot. And into that at the base inside is some sec dried foam, the one that when you place things into it, it crunches. That is halfway down at the bottom. And on the top, I'm using the bio foam, which is semi-degradable. We're looking forward to receiving the 100% degradable foams. And because of the flower I'm actually using, I need a little bit of help with it. It's quite a tall flower, you'll see it shortly. So into that I've pushed down into the dried foam to anchor it two garden cane stems. So the flower I've chosen for this design is Arum Lily. It's Xanthodecia, is its Latin name. Ethiopica highwood. And that is Rhizomatomus perennial, which is hardy and grows. Now you'll see I inserted a little barbecue skewer into the stem, and that was to help it anchor it into the foam. And I'm using some jute wire to tie that into the actual garden canes. So I want to create a line of these initially. So I know, like everyone else, the lockdowns have been quite hard for us to go through. And last year I decided what I would do is I would create my own YouTube channel, my name, and that has allowed me to share my garden, which is quite a large garden. We've lived here 20 years, and we've created it out of a field, which was a plantation originally. I'm going to add now some of the erect stems of an ivy, and this is Hedera sagittarifolia. My inspiration for this design comes from the ferns and the hostas which start to appear in your garden in springtime, and the hosta spikes come through, and they have tightly curled embryonic leaves, and then they have the promise of things to come. And the ferns, hostas and ferns are my two favourite foliages to use. The ferns are tightly packed in springtime, and as they erupt up, they unfurl, and it's like they're coming awake, and it's like as if you're stretching, you know, when you wake up in the morning, just stretching yourself and waking up. And that's exactly what happens. And it's just a great joy to see these things. It really is. Some leaves of the Fats Hedera lizii, and they've been sprayed with a leaf shine, as they are slightly dullish in their natural form. I want to be able to curl them round, and I'm going to skewer two together to be able to create some line to represent the fronds of the unfurling ferns. Skewering the arums like this doesn't stop the actual flowers taking up moisture into the actual stems. I've always enjoyed supporting the NAFAS national shows, and as a competitor, it's really amazing if you've never done that. I know we're having the online, but when we get back to normality and we will have physical national shows, it's well worth visiting and even entering as a competitor, because you can be woken up to new styles and new applications of technique, and it's always really interesting to, if you compete, to actually walk around and see what the other competitors are doing. I'll snip the ends. I want to add some stems of larch, and this is Larix Diana, and that hopefully will draw your attention to the green stems of the arum itself. This is the contorted larch, and that's the only deciduous conifer is the larix, and this is the one that has beautiful curly stems. I want to add Skimmia Q green at the base. Change of texture, but still retaining the greenness. Colour. And finally, I want to use the Hapini, the skeletonized Phormium, and this was kindly given to me by a friend, Heather Hammond, at the World Show in India. And of course we look forward to the next World Show, which is in 2024 in Auckland, New Zealand. So if ever there was a time to start saving up to go to that, then now is the chance. This is created by, I think it's a secret technique. I know in some of the NAFAS national handbooks, I think you can actually use a pasta machine to actually make a representation of this. I don't think it's very easy, mind, actually, to do that. And so the third piece. So I hope you've liked my two designs today for you, and enjoy going round and seeing your surroundings or your gardens as they all wake up and burst into life. Thank you.